Hi, welcome to Live and Look Luxe, my beauty masterclass, where you can go and become an expert in your own beauty so that you leave a little bit more informed on how you can make better choices based on your coloring, your face shape, even body shapes, so you can better shop for clothing, accessories, and build a makeup collection of your dreams that's really going to suit you in all ways. This masterclass is truly a love letter to all of my subscribers and friends. I worked really hard on each and every chapter, and I'm so happy to finally share with you here now on YouTube. So welcome, and let's get into it. Here's chapter 2. Hi, welcome to chapter 2. Today we're going to be talking about confidence. So confidence is one of the most effective and quickest way to instantly look more attractive. However, genuine confidence doesn't always come that easy. I personally used to think that confidence was something you were born with. And that is definitely not the case. This is definitely a skill and an area where you can strengthen. So I'm not only going to share some steps and things that I have done that have helped tremendously, but we're also going to get deep in identifying what confidence means to you. Because what would make someone else confident probably wouldn't add much to you. And in this chapter, we're going to learn on how we can strengthen genuine confidence. And so for it to feel genuine and to really be effective, it needs to feel natural. All right, so the first step in gaining more confidence is identifying what confidence is to you. So imagine yourself the most confident version of you. Does that look like someone that can speak in front of thousands? Does that mean that you are the best in your field? Is it when you get positive affirmation from others, whether at work or in your personal life? Really sit down and make a list of what would make you feel more confident. So far we've kind of only touched on talent and self-growth, but it can totally be, I would love to lose 15 pounds, or I would love for my hair to be a different color. I would love for my skin to be clear. Whatever that new confident version of yourself looks like, write that down. And it's okay if you have more in one category than the other, meaning if all of your points are to do with the exterior outer beauty, or if it's more about your productivity, your talent, and your personal skill set. And what I also recommend is to do this exercise a couple of years from now again. Our priorities change, we're evolving human beings, and it's very natural that what you want right now may not be what you want in a couple of years. And more so, you want to build upon where you are in a couple of years. So if right now your goal is kind of the next step, in a couple of years you want to go even further. For the next step, you can either write this down, or it can just be something where you kind of meditate on it. It can be while you're out on a walk. It can be while you're doing your favorite activity. And so the goal is to imagine how you'll feel when you get there. Sometimes a big reason why you don't achieve your goals is because it scares you in some way, or you can't actually see it, can't visualize it, or you feel you're not worthy. There's a lot of things holding us back, and we'll get into that in a moment. But for now, I really want you to imagine yourself and really embody yourself in that new confident self. How would that feel? How much more can you achieve? And sometimes this can actually be almost an overwhelming feeling for us, and that's why we take it step by step. If your goal is to, say, be president of your current company, that might sound like a scary step. So think of, what's the first step to get me there? And focus on that, embody that, and do the necessary steps to get closer to that. And there's also a big chance that maybe you are very close, or you're already where you want to be. If that's the case, take a moment to really take in all the hard work that it has taken you to get to where you are. A big part in almost getting that energy to keep you going and going further than where you are is sometimes just the boost of confidence that you get from knowing what you've already achieved. That just confirms that the power is within you. Think about where you were 10 years ago versus where you are now. A lot has changed. I'm sure you feel like a different person now. And of course, we all know life happens, and sometimes in those 10 years, there's a lot of heartache, a lot of difficult things that we've had to endure. And don't think of that as a setback. You are human, and you still overcame all of those obstacles. And you're here and you're thriving and you've picked up this course because you want to better yourself. I read a book a couple years ago that was meant to really identify your personality and basically your thinking modes without judging you. This book was written so cleverly that you couldn't even outsmart the book. And of course, you tend to go with the nicer person version because you are a nice person. But this book had you kind of make lists of various things. And then in the end, you would decipher it and find out what that meant. And a big part of this book was to identify your limiting beliefs. And if there's one thing that kills the most dreams, I would say it's that. Definitely see it in my industry. I'm positive that it exists in others, but it's the belief that I would love to achieve that, but I'm not that good. Or I would love to be a millionaire, but that's selfish. A lot of these things can be cultural. A lot of these things are ingrained in us from our parents. And oftentimes you just assume that this is how we live. It's not an area that we necessarily condition or work on to grow and evolve out of. I've personally always been someone that likes a challenge and likes to kind of evolve into the next step. I love and crave stability, but I do get a little bit bored when things kind of have been the same for like the last couple of years. So I've always thought of myself as someone who is ambitious and who wants to achieve more. I've always thought, oh, I have no limiting beliefs. Well, turns out I was living with a ton of them. One of the best ways to deal with that is to self-identify and really try and break out of that. Sometimes it takes a little more than that. Therapy can be an amazing way to help you with that. Friends and family are a great support system, but having someone that's neutral, that isn't from your upbringing, who isn't in your family circle, can be of great help. So normally what is stopping us from achieving that next big goal is either our limiting beliefs or lack of resources where you actually feel, I don't have the necessary funds or time or whatever it is to achieve the next step. And I would actually say the limited resources is an easier one to tackle. Because when you want something, you will make it happen. Our limiting beliefs, however, are a lot tougher to break down. So if you can work on that and try and catch yourself, maybe the next time that, say you're in a meeting, maybe you have a brilliant idea. And that little thought that comes in your head like, I'm not going to say it. I'm sure someone has a better idea. That's a limiting belief. Who knows? That could be the next big thing. And then again, that also comes back to confidence. If you have that confidence that your idea is great, if you constantly have that mentality, you are going to be a magnet to people. People will believe the person that believes in themselves. I notice it in my own YouTube videos. When I make a video on something that I'm super confident about, and to me, it's very black or white, this is the best thing, this is the only way to do this, versus when I talk about something that's like, I've tried it out, it's okay, I'm not really sure how to use it yet. Which video do you think people would buy more? Obviously the one that I'm passionate about, the one that I'm confident about. And essentially that's all we are. We're constantly just this exchange of energy. And if you have positive, passionate, confident energy, people love that. People are going to want to work with you. People are going to want to listen to you. I think another big thing too is we often think, I would like to be valued in this way. And with that mentality already, you're setting yourself up for failure because you don't have control of how others perceive you. So instead, if you internalize that thought and that energy, how do I value myself? If you walk into a meeting feeling, I've done amazing for this company, I have years of experience, know what I'm talking about, I'm confident that step XYZ is going to get us the next big thing. Just by encompassing and embodying that feeling, people are going to value that, as opposed to, I want to go into this meeting and I want to be valued for all my skills. And that's where we need our confidence, because if we don't have that confidence to show people, people will never know what you're capable of. So now I want to share a couple of exercises that you can do that will really help with your self-confidence. So step number one is in the morning, kind of beginning of your day, before you've got your makeup on, I want you to look in the mirror for a full minute, set your phone timer on, and just stare at yourself. Don't look away. Just take in all of your features. When I was told to do this, I was like, I'm not doing that without makeup. I don't want to stare at myself and pick out all the flaws. And so I did it. And for the first 10, 15 seconds, that's kind of all you want to do. And then about 30 seconds, you're like, okay, I'm still looking at this person. Then you start seeing that person for what they are, and more so how other people see them. I started looking and saying, oh, my eye color looks really bright today. Oh, that zit that I had 3 days ago has cleared up. Nice. And then, wow, my eyes can see. I can taste. My nose works. My hair's long. That means I'm alive. Anyway, this seems so silly, but it grounds you and it makes you look yourself in the eye, which we go weeks, months without probably doing so. We'll pass a reflection or a mirror and think, oh, I need to lose 10 pounds. That's toxic. Why would you be giving yourself and body hate? Then the next step, after you do this a couple of times, I definitely recommend doing this a couple of times a week. When I started doing this, I was instructed to do it every single day for at least a minute. By the third or the fourth day, I could only find positive things to say to myself. And I don't know if it's something about like staring yourself in the eye. Think about talking to a friend. Even if there was something that they needed to change, wouldn't you say it in such a nice way because you want them to grow and you want them to be the best versions of themselves? And it's so crazy how we'll be so nice to our friends and family, but so mean to ourselves. And when you start being a lot nicer to yourself, your whole tolerance for how others treat you becomes a lot different too. And having such healthy boundaries on how others treat you will transform your life just with that step alone. Another thing that I want you to do while you do this exercise of looking at yourself in the mirror for 1 minute is that I want you to tell yourself 3 positive things. If you feel the need to kind of nitpick yourself the first couple of seconds or the first couple of times, do it. But you cannot end that 1 minute session without telling yourself 3 amazing things. And it can just be, my skin is glowing today. I'm so proud of myself that I finished that project yesterday. Or I'm so proud that I spoke up for myself at work yesterday, but I did it in a nice way. And the reason for this isn't to have this like fake self-talk with yourself. It is to remind you of the amazing things that you are doing. You can go an entire day of maybe you had a beautiful outfit on, maybe you had a super healthy lunch, maybe you spent an extra 20 minutes playing with your kids and you totally made their day. You can have all these amazing things, then you make one mistake that day. When you go to bed, that's the thing you're dwelling on. That's not doing anything for your confidence. And it's okay to think about the areas you need to change and maybe what you didn't do right today, but it's equally as important to think of all the right things that you did do. And this is a very tough one for me. I would rather sit and dwell on all of the things that I've done wrong because I used to think that's how I'm going to be more productive. That's how I'm going to make tomorrow better. Well, if I go into tomorrow thinking I'm a crummy person, probably not going to have a great day. Another exercise that I would like you to do is, and this doesn't have to be done all in one sitting, I'd like you to make a list of 15 decisions that you've made that you were super happy and proud that you have. This one to me was so eye-opening. I've often thought, I could have done this differently. I could have done this and it would have optimized my future, my career, or had I done this differently? Or oftentimes we think like, oh, I got this job because I was lucky, or I'm in the situation because I fell into it. And that's not the case. You're in the situation that you are because of your hard work. And making this list, wow, it was just so eye-opening. And I remember when I told Adam about this and I asked him to do it as well, the first question he asked was, am I one of your good decisions? And then I had to go back and see, but he was. But all of these things, I was like, wow, this is how in control of my life I've been. So many big decisions that I had made that I think in the time you kind of just are going with it and you feel like, well, of course I did that. It was the next step. But no, those were big, scary decisions that you decided to do. I recommend revisiting this list anytime you need a little bit of a confidence boost. I've definitely had those days where it's like, wow, I made some mistakes today. And sometimes reviewing that makes you see the big picture rather than one speck of a day in time. The next exercise is to be more complimentary to others, to be more engaging. I read another book on how to kind of be more liked and be seen for who you are as an introvert. And a big part of this book was, if you want to be liked, you have to like others. And one of the big questions was, think of like the most popular person at work or when you were in high school, and what did they embody? What did they have? And everyone's answer is they were outgoing. But that's not the truth. There's plenty of maybe outgoing people that you don't really look up to or that weren't that popular. Normally what popular people embody is that they connect with others. And that's why you know of them. They've made an impact on you. So I'm not saying if you're not, the social butterfly, like you have to go be that tomorrow, but you can't expect that quiet person at work that never really speaks up, that then has the whole company, believe in them and listen to them. If you want maybe recognition in something that you've done, maybe give recognition to that person, and it can be something small. So in my field, we're in the industry of giving to people. So that is an area that to me seems very obvious. But even then, I feel like in my personal life, I can be so bad at reaching out to friends to just connect, to hang out. And that is one thing that I've taken from this book is make that effort. Maybe help someone out before they've asked for help. They are going to remember that, and they will most likely help you in a time that you need help. Just be more giving with your positive energy. And that positive energy will be multiplied back to you, I promise. And I have to finish on this last tip, and that is comparison. Obviously, it can be a comparison from the people in your life, people at work, but it can also be comparison from celebrities. Really take into account what media you're taking in. From scrolling Instagram, I noticed I only followed friends and family, and then girls that were 23 and younger and models and fit. And I followed about 1,000 of those. What was that doing for my confidence? Absolute nothing. And the issue with that, and this is something that I've personally dissected, and that is normally when you're scrolling Instagram, it's not at the moment where you're living your best life. It's probably you're tired. It is probably you've had a crummy day and you're just looking through for some inspiration. And so what ends up happening in that moment, you don't feel your best, but you're looking at people living out their best life. And no matter how strong and how wise you are, that is not good for your mental state. And this may sound a little self-fulfilling or cheesy or just wrong. The next time you're on social media and you see a beautiful photo of someone and maybe you start to feel a hint of jealousy, do not compare that photo to how you're feeling and how you're looking in that moment. Compare yourself to one of your highlight reels, or don't compare at all. But let's be honest, we're human, we compare. This specific little tweak has made a huge difference for me. Because I noticed that when I was working on a client and the client was complimenting my work and was so happy, I was not on Instagram. That was a moment that I lived that was wonderful. And then maybe when I got an email that wasn't great, or I just got some bad news and then I'm scrolling Instagram and then I see someone just got a promotion in their job, that's gonna make me feel like crap. So again, instead of comparing it to that moment that I'm living currently, compare it to maybe a moment you had earlier. And when you compare it that way, you end up feeling much more happy for the person you're looking at. And that is also a muscle that you will need to strengthen if you want to have your own personal confidence. You need to feel happy for others' wins. The more happy you are for others' big achievements, the more you're going to accept yours. Because when you start to feel jealousy or just any negativity towards anyone else, that is still living in you. That is affecting your day. That is affecting your energy to possibly progress and become something bigger. So don't let that negativity or that jealousy get to you. And if you find this to be hard for you, just limit your media intake. All right, that is it for this chapter. I hope you start building upon your confidence even more. If you're feeling inspired to go be the damn best self you can be, and may you achieve all of your life's goals and dreams.